Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. We are here in the greenhouse. It is now into December. We're into winter, and I just wanted to share a little secret that's working great for me this winter so far, and that is efficiently heating my greenhouse in the daytime and at the same time dehumidifying it. Most people don't think of dehumidifiers as something that they really want in the greenhouse, but it really truly is. For the winter time here, let me just tell you a little bit about our winters. We're on the west coast of Canada. I'm not overly cold. It's about 10 degrees out today, but it's overcast, it's cloudy, it's rainy, and pretty much all winter long we have 100% humidity outside. It is really humid, and in the winter I was finding that the greenhouse was really getting the corners were staying kind of moist. You know, it's hard to get proper airflow down to the corners. You'll notice I have fans everywhere in here for airflow purposes, but it was hard to get into the corners, so I started using a dehumidifier in here in the wintertime. And it doesn't mean I don't humidify still, it's just a way of controlling the humidity. Otherwise it would be 100% humidity in the greenhouse just like outside all winter long, which is something I don't want. It's not that good for the plants. Just like in the summer and just like in normal weather patterns, the daytime there should be a slight reduction in humidity before it goes back up at nighttime. But the bonus to the dehumidifier, other than the health of the plants, is the heat that it produces. So the dehumidifier itself runs with the humidifier, believe it or not. If it gets too low of humidity in here, this fogger will come on and maintain, so I don't drop it down too low. The reason I don't just set it and forget it to sort of maintain a humidity is because this is how I'm heating my greenhouse today. It's not necessarily how I heat it at night, but it's how I heat it in the daytime. And let's just take a little step closer. It's the only fan that's still on, so bear with me, hopefully it's not too loud. But it is, and I'm just trying to get a little closer still. There we go. 90% humidity in here right now, set to 88%. So I keep it a little bit lower. So in a few more percentage drops, this is actually going to kick the fogger on. But it is currently 77 degrees in here, or 25.3 Celsius. So it feels warm in here today. For a winter day, this is really warm. For having basically nothing running other than this. So this is where the good part comes in. This dehumidifier here is about 450 watts of power. I could be running a heater right now to get 25.3 Celsius in here, but I'm running the dehumidifier instead. Not only is this beneficial for taking moisture out of the air, which means I have to water my plants more often. The roots can dry out a little bit. Just like in the summertime, they're not constantly sitting in water. Stuff is drying still, which is great because you don't want your plants to be soggy wet for months. It's warming up the air in here. It's dehumidifying the air, and it's only costing me 450 watts of energy to do it. So I'd be using the dehumidifier anyways because I want for the health of my plants. I don't want them to be in a very humid environment. The smell in here right now is great, being that it takes some of the humidity out of the air. There's no mold smells, there's nothing like that. It doesn't smell wet or like the wet wood or anything like that you would expect in a closed up greenhouse. So for the health of the greenhouse, the bones of the greenhouse, it is great because the wood actually dries, the floor dries, everything dries to a point until I rewater. And I actually rewater in here quite a bit in the winter because of this taking out the water. But here is the trick. This is the great part. So I sat this thermometer in front of it just before we started filming. This is a minimum maximum thermometer, so it has two dials on it, but we're going to focus on this one here for now. And this is telling me that we are at, this is the air coming out of the dehumidifier. It comes out at about 44 or 108 Celsius. So that's kind of cool that it comes out that warm, 108. So that is why the greenhouse is so warm right now. The air that's blowing out of there is 40 degrees Celsius. The air in here is 25 degrees Celsius for 450 watts of energy used. Now, I was doing a bit of research last year on the internet, and I'm going to turn this off now because it's probably loud and I don't know how it's going to be actually on camera. I don't want the whole video to be drowned out by the dehumidifier running. Now that I've sort of got to my point there that this bad boy produces some hot air. Now, what I have found out is that through the workings of a dehumidifier, and I'm no expert on this, but I have read some papers on the internet, and I'm even gonna I'll put some links in to a good article about how efficient a dehumidifier is at heating. So the way it works is the act of taking the water out of the air, the moisture out of the air, actually creates heat as a side product. And so the energy used compared to the heat produced is at about 150% ratio. So even though I am only using 450 watts, I'm going to do some real quick math. I am getting about 700 watts of energy out of this for 450 watts of use. So it is the most efficient way I have seen of heating your greenhouse. Now, it's not going to heat a large space. It's not going to heat it super hot. As I say, I just do this in the daytime to take the chill off. I don't rely on it. I have a heater in here, but the heater doesn't run in the daytime at all because I'm using the dehumidifier instead. So it's a very, very cost efficient way. The article says it's actually 150% efficient. It is the only piece of equipment that I can find that is that efficient on using energy and producing heat, with the bonus of the dehumidification anyways. So it is absolutely win-win for me because I'd be using this anyways, but now I just don't have to use the heater. Yeah. So the key to this, now you're asking yourself, can I heat my home with these? Yes and no. So here on the West Coast, we actually have 2 of these running in our house as well, because with it 100% humidity outside here in the wintertime, it gets humid in the house. So these produce tons of warm air in my home as well. But if you strip too much humidity out of the air in a home, it's going to be uncomfortable for you. The other thing is, the easier it is to grab moisture out. Like I say, it's humid in here still. It's the humidifier set to 88%. When it's working with 88% or 95% humidity in the air, it can strip so much water out of the air, it produces so much heat. As the humidity drops, it has to work harder and longer to take out the remaining humidity, which means the air isn't as warm coming out. So in this situation, in this greenhouse that's nice and humid, with an endless supply of humidity, it pumps out, 44 degree air, and it's just fantastic the way it works like that. If the humidity was to drop down, like in the house where it gets to like 50% humidity, the temperature of the air that's coming out isn't as warm at all. But anyways, I hope you like this video. Really efficient way of heating your greenhouse in a milder climate or in the daytime just to take the chill out. Now, this has a setting on it so you can actually set your own humidistat so it turns off at, we'll say, 80%. But then it's not running to warm up the greenhouse as much, because it can take humidity out of the air quite quickly. So in order for this to work properly for me, I know it sounds ridiculously counterproductive, but when the humidity gets too low, the fogger kicks on, brings it back up to the set amount that I'm in control of, and this continues to work. So they're almost fighting against each other, but for every hour that this runs, the fogger might need to run for 5 or 10 minutes to keep up. And it makes everything really, really fresh in here. It's great. When I water plants, the plants leaves dry. When I water my nepenthes, the media will dry out in a few days, just like in the summertime. It doesn't stay stopping wet. Same with your orchids and everything. You have to rewater because it is sucking the moisture out. By spraying everything and misting everything with water in the mornings, it's like creating a nice dew for the plants, but it dries, which is key to the health of the plants, key to the health of the greenhouse, and with this guy running, key to the health of your wallet or your pocketbook. So anyways, that's my ramble. There's 10 minutes of rambling on how to heat your greenhouse with 150% efficiency with a dehumidifier. I hope you like this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. As always, thanks for watching.